Hey everyone, it's Jo-Mei, and welcome to another video game review. This time I'm going to be reviewing the adventure game from Jo-Mei and EA, Sea of Solitude. Sea of Solitude is an interesting game that explores some themes that you really don't see explored a whole lot in gaming. The main premise is that you play as a girl named Kay, who just wakes up and she has been turned into a monster, and she has to use a boat to explore a city that has been submerged underwater, and she'll encounter monsters that will get in her way as her journey progresses. I would say that the story overall is pretty good. It explores its themes of loneliness in a very relatable way, and there are even a couple of standout moments that happen throughout the 2 to 3 hour runtime. The main problem is that the writing and the metaphors can be a little too on the nose, and it happens more than once, and it honestly took me out of the experience when it happened. And the voice acting also doesn't help. Some of it is just over the top. But that being said, I still liked most of the characters. The standouts to me are the main character Kay. I think she's very well written. The little brother character is also pretty good, and the ex-boyfriend is also pretty good as well. And also, as you can see, the game itself looks pretty great. I enjoy the overall aesthetic. It has some nice effects, and I don't know, just the art style is very well presented. And I also really like a lot of the monster designs. They're all really well done. I will also say that the themes of the game and the metaphors, as heavy-handed as they can be, they do tie in pretty well to the gameplay. I will say that the gameplay itself is just alright. The main thing you're doing is exploring the city, and you're mainly getting around by boat. And I will say that the boat does control pretty great. The problem is when you leave the boat, I just think you walk around fairly slowly, and the game itself is pretty linear, but you can go around and explore all the buildings, and the things that you can get from the buildings are just okay. You can find bottles which have short messages in them, and I will say that some of them are actually pretty funny, and I do think those are kind of worth going to collect. The seagulls are just kind of however, you just kind of shoo them away, which seems kind of mean, to be honest. They were looking kind of comfy. And on top of that, it just kind of feels tacked on. I will also say that there are parts of the game where you have to get from building to building while swimming in the dark ocean, and there's a monster that will chase you, so you have to time it just right, and those can actually be pretty tense, and I think that works very well. Overall, though, I do find the game not very challenging. Outside of exploring and swimming from the monster, you're also collecting light, and you're clearing corruption from the light. And throughout all the different chapters, there's different ways that you do that, and it all ties into whatever Kay is having to deal with at the time. And some of them do work, like there's a part in a school, and I do think that one kind of works when you're going through the school and you're just trying to get around all the kids that are trying to pick on her little brother. That part works. There's also one part that has been mentioned a bunch of times, and I'll mention it again, the part where you're going up through a tower. I think that one works pretty well too, but the gameplay doesn't really evolve from just exploring and clearing corruption with your backpack, and just by the end of the game, I will say it does get pretty boring. I do get that the gameplay itself is not the main focus, but just the monotony, I guess. Like, it is a little monotonous, and the whole story just not working as well as I think it should. It just kind of brings the whole game down, and near the end, I was just kind of wanting the game to end, even though it was only like 2 to 3 hours. So that's, just my overall thoughts on that. And then the last thing I will say, there is a warning at the beginning, which I do appreciate, because you do need to be in the right mindset to play this game. And if you are having mental issues, I would not recommend playing this game. And it's kind of nice that it is there. So that's all I have for my review. So now I'll move on to my final thoughts. So I've been mulling over this game in my head for the weekend, and I was just really trying to debate how I really feel about the game, and I just think the game is okay. The story can be pretty good. It has some moments that work. I just feel like some of the on-the-nose metaphors can just bring you out of the experience, and there are some good characters, but the voice acting just doesn't is just too over the top for the game itself, and the gameplay is just kind of boring, and just exploring is not worth it in the end, to be completely honest. And yeah, the only other thing I have to say is that the game looks great, and $20 is the right price point. However, I wouldn't recommend just running out to get the game. I would say if you're looking for just a quick palate cleanser that will take you about 2 hours if you don't really explore. If you want the platinum, I would say 4 hours, because I did some moderate exploring and I got over half of the collectibles, and it took me 3 hours to beat the game. So probably a 4 to 5, really, if you're going for that platinum, which this game does have. So yeah, just I would say this is a quick palate cleanser, or if you are just looking for something interesting to play, that is where I would recommend this game, because it is only $20 and it's fairly short. But anyway, that is it for my review. If you liked what you've seen, you can go ahead and like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more game reviews and all that good gaming stuff. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.